I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead hands. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is... I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right.
All right, here we are again. It's officially October. Can you believe it? It is officially October. October the 3rd, 2025, and week 5 is upon us. The Tennessee Titans getting ready to go on the road and play the Arizona Cardinals this Sunday, 3 p.m. Central. Oh, boy. Before I get into all of the stuff going on in Titans world, a little bit of an unusual start to the podcast, but I do want to say this today. Something that's been on my mind since about yesterday. I love the Titans, okay? I'm passionate in my diehard fandom of the Tennessee Titans. And I take it personally when they lose and look bad. I'll just go ahead and tell you. I take it personally. I take it hard. And sometimes, because I now have this channel and this podcast and this outlet to voice that frustration, I'm grateful for it. But I happened to listen back to my video that I did Sunday after the game, after the Titans lost to the Texans, and in particular when I was talking about L'Jarius Sneed. I listened back to that video and I thought, yikes. That was pretty intense, dude. Like, I think I called him a bum. Like, and listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm genuine on here. I'm sincere. I'm as authentic as I can be. I don't put on a show. I don't pretend to be mad when the camera's on. That's how I'm feeling in the moment. I don't have a script. I don't have a, here's how I want this video. I want to get views, and so I'm going to pretend to be mad. No, it was genuine anger. Just like it's been genuine anger a few weeks ago when I talked about Brian Callahan and the one elbow equaling 2 feet. Just like years ago when I talked about Todd Downing and some of his play calls. It's genuinely from a place of sincerity. But I listened back to some of it yesterday and thought, wow, that's kind of personal. Some of the stuff I'm saying right there sounds like it's bigger than football. So I'm not going to apologize for being passionate. I'm not going to apologize for caring. I'm not going to apologize for calling out when I see something from my favorite team in the world that I don't believe is acceptable. But I will apologize when I feel like I cross a line. And I felt like I crossed a line when talking about L'Jarius Sneed. I know nobody has asked me to do this. Nobody has sat me down and said, hey, buddy, you better get on there. And nobody's done that. But it's just a personal thing for me. I'm a Christian, folks. I can't be out here. I can't be out here losing it to that degree and posting it, okay? Saying awful stuff, all right? I don't use profanity or anything like that, but because I got kids out there that listen and everything. But either way, listened back to some of that stuff and was like, dang, bro. I was pretty mad. And I'm not going to apologize for caring, but I did feel like it went a little far. I know L'Jarius Sneed is never going to see that video and doesn't know who I am, but, just something personal I wanted to say and get out of the way at the start of the podcast, even though that's awkward and that's not what you were expecting when we started this episode today. I'm always going to keep it 100, keep it a buck. But, it was a little much. It was a little much. I'm sure L'Jarius Sneed is a wonderful human being. I'm sure he is a wonderful, I don't know if he has kids, but I'm sure if he does, he's a wonderful father, wonderful husband. Just like I'm sure Brian Callahan is too. I'm going to strictly talk about football, and I'm going to do it expressively and passionately. But from now on, I'm not going to get personal. That's too far. And so appreciate your time listening to that matter. Just wanted to give that little disclaimer to start the episode because I listened back to some of that stuff that I said and was like, dang, bro. Like, I might actually go edit it out when I get done with this podcast today. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about last night. I don't know how many of you watched the 49ers-Rams game last night on I think they were in LA. But man, if you didn't believe it before, you better believe it now, man. Coaching matters. It matters. It matters big time because the 49ers last night went in there coming off of a loss on Sunday with Mac Jones as their quarterback. And they went in there last night and beat who I believe is one of the better teams in the league in the Rams on the road, which I know the Rams don't have a huge home field advantage because LA is a basketball town. But the 49ers won last night with Mac Jones. Let me read you Mac Jones' stats from last night. 33 of 49 for 342, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mac Jones against the Rams. And I know the 49ers, they have talent. I know. But Mac Jones, who last year was a backup in Jacksonville, had to play a lot when Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and he looked like a backup, right? Like, sometimes you wondered if he was even at a level of a backup, okay? Now he comes in San Francisco against the Rams of all teams and tears it up, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they won in overtime. Coaching matters, folks. It matters. We see it all the time. There are certain teams in this league that any quarterback can go there and experience success. Maybe like if Mac Jones was the week in, week out starter in San Francisco, do I think that he would continue playing like this? No. But the fact that he was able to come in there and do that last night, he wouldn't have done. I mean, with Jacksonville last year, he wasn't doing that. Coaching matters. The 49ers are well coached. And so they're able to plug in Mac Jones and win against a quality opponent. And Mac Jones throws for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hung in there with Stafford. His stats were very similar to Stafford. Somebody just said, Cameron Jefferson said, Mac threw for 342, Stafford threw for 389. He had pretty much the same numbers as Stafford. And Stafford's nasty. Stafford's as good. He's throwing the ball as well as anybody right now. Coaching matters. We saw it last year when Malik Willis, of all people, came to town, quarterbacking the Packers against us, and he tore us up. When he was with us, it looked like he was having trouble even completing a pass. Then he goes to Green Bay, comes in, and torches us. Green Bay's well coached. The Rams are well coached. The 49ers are well coached. The Bills are well coached. The Eagles are well coached. The Chiefs are well coached. And there are others, but I'm not just going to keep listing people. Coaching matters. And when it comes to the Titans and where we stand currently, because Brian Callahan is still the head coach, I hear a lot of people that say, well, it's the roster. The roster's not great. The roster's not great. And you're right. The roster's not great. But I don't think the roster's just a disaster. On paper, at least. I mean, the Titans roster is not great by any means. It's not like a playoff roster. But I don't think it's like a bottom 3 roster in the league. I think there are worse rosters than the Titans have. I mean, look, you've got an offensive line with 2 first-round draft picks on it, and I know J.C. Latham hasn't played since week 1, and it looks like he's not going to play this week either, so that'll be 4 straight games he's missed. But in theory, you've got 2 first-round picks on the offensive line. Lloyd Cushenberry was the top free agent center last offseason. Kevin Zeitler is a veteran that is reliable. And then a $22 million a year left tackle. In theory, with Bill Callahan as their coach, that should be, you could do a heck of a lot worse. Tony Pollard as a running back, you could do a heck of a lot worse. In theory, Calvin Ridley as your number 1 wide receiver, you could do worse. You know, Tyler Lockett as a veteran wide receiver. I mean, it's not great, but you could do worse than Tyler Lockett. 2 good young rookie wide receivers that you found in Chimere Dike and Alec Ayo-Manor. No, it's not a playoff roster, but like it's enough to where you could like make something of it. The number 1 overall pick at quarterback. And we're just talking about offense. Look at defense. Jeffrey Simmons, who's playing as well as any interior defensive tackle in the league. You could do a lot worse. Cedric Gray playing well at linebacker. In theory, Amani Hooker, veteran safety. In theory, you could do a lot worse. L'Jarius Sneed, who again, I've already apologized to here today. The play he made, the 2nd and 33 is still unacceptable. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't unacceptable, but I'm just saying some of the stuff I said about it was unacceptable too, but I digress. But in theory, L'Jarius Sneed should be a good player. Roger McCreary's a good player. Promising rookies and young players all over the defense. So I'm not saying it's a playoff roster, but like you could do worse than the Titans. It's not good enough to get you a playoff spot, but like if well coached, there should be enough there to do something. I want to quickly say Amnesia asked about a Ridley injury update. Is it finally time for Xavier Restrepo? Xavier Restrepo, like the bat symbol in the sky. People are looking for him. I don't know. I know Ridley hasn't practiced this week. I don't know. We'll get the final injury report today with designations. My guess would be that he'll be listed as questionable. But the Titans roster, I saw, I know some of you guys feel a certain way about him, but Tyler Rowland, Locked on Titans, said the other day that he feels like if this team was well coached, they would be 2-2 right now. He argued that the Titans would have beaten the Broncos if they were well coached, And I think he argued that they would have beaten Houston, which seems silly to say because they lost 26-0. But I get, in theory, Houston doesn't look like they're very good. They were only up 6-0 at the end of the third. If you had a proper offense, you would have been scoring throughout the game. I understand. And I think there's some weight to that. Like, the Titans are not a well-coached team. They're not a well-coached team. And that goes without saying at this point. Okay. It's not like I'm dropping a bombshell on you right now. It's just like, newsflash, the Titans are not but they're not. And I can't sit here and pretend like, that they're secretly great coaches, but they're just being held back by this roster. Because that's what I felt like they were trying to say on First Take in the segment that I watched yesterday on the channel. I felt like they were trying to say, oh, well, the roster. And again, the roster's not great, but the Titans are not a well-coached team. God bless Brian Callahan. I'm a Christian, y'all. I'm trying to be good, okay? I'm trying to be good, Jesus. I'm trying. But I'm sure Brian Callahan's a great guy, and there's probably a good football mind in there somewhere, but the Titans are not a well-coached team right now, and they haven't been for 2 years. And so that to me, when you watch Kyle Shanahan winning against quality opponents with Mac Jones, it just raises the point even more that coaching matters. Coaching matters. Both good and bad. A poorly coached team can ruin even the best of rosters. A well-coached team can make the most of even the worst rosters. We've seen it happen time and time again. And I've said this, and I will say it again. You put Kyle Shanahan as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans right now, with the same roster and everything, I just feel like they would have a better record right now. You put Sean McVay as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans with this exact same roster, I feel like the Titans would have a better record and we'd all feel better about this team. Matt LaFleur, who was here, by the way, you put him as the head coach of this team with the exact same roster, don't change a thing, I guarantee you the Titans would have a better record right now. Dom Lopez in the Super Chat said, going to my second Titan game. First was 2019 Broncos shutout. That was a doozy, which switched the entire season around. Maybe in my luck, it happens again. Well, I do hope you have a good time, Dom. I do hope you have a good time. And I hope you don't get a repeat of what happened in Denver that time. But that was the turning point of the season, I guess. But, yeah, I think that last night proves coaching matters. We see it all the time. Can good coaching just flat out win a game? No, but good coaching can put your offense, can put your team in a position to where they can be successful. And that's been my biggest complaint. I don't feel like the Titans are in a position to be successful right now. I don't feel like this offense puts Cam Ward, Alec Iomanor, insert name here. It doesn't put any of those guys in a position to succeed. For example, week 1 against Denver, that disastrous drive, which one, right? But the disastrous drive where Cam got sacked twice in a row, it took us out of field goal range after we got a turnover. Like, we had a backup right tackle in against the Broncos defensive front. What? Is there not a play call that could be better suited to that? Could we not do more to help that right tackle? Because what we did is just left him out there by himself. And then had route combinations that were such deep routes being run that Cam needed time and the receivers needed time to run their routes, but they can't because we have a backup right tackle in who's getting smoked. And he's a backup right tackle going against an elite defensive front. Like, you got to put the players in a position to succeed, and I feel like the Titans aren't doing that right now. And listen, this is not the day that I'm going to sit here and scream and yell and jump up and down. You know, I talked about it earlier. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. Lord help me. I'm legitimately trying to be good. But I said it last night on X, and I will repeat it here. I just want the Titans to be good, man. I just want them to be competitive. And as I said earlier, like, I take it personally because I'm passionate about these Titans, man. It's one of the first things I told my wife when we started dating. She's asking, like, what makes you who you are? I was like, well, man, my faith, my family, my friends, and the Tennessee Titans. Like, seriously, it's one of the top 5 things I said. That I love the Tennessee Titans. I'm passionate about the Tennessee Titans. I told her, I said, if they ever won a Super Bowl, I wouldn't sleep for a week. I would just sit there and cry constantly, you know? And so when we're like this, and we're losing all the time, and we're most of the time we're like not even competitive, like, that kills me, man. And yes, sometimes it makes me get on here and scream and yell and run around the room and throw stuff, and you know, I'm trying to not fall into that anymore because I don't feel like it's a good reflection of the Lord, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to be a good Christian out here. But, like, I just hate to see a team that's not well coached, a team that's not being put in a position to even be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have a chance. Watch some of these throws where Cam gets sacked or throws it incomplete or whatever. There ain't nobody open. Ain't nobody open. Why is that? Is it because our receivers can't get separation, or is it because it's bad play call, bad route combinations? Like, what's going on, man? We got the number 1 overall pick. And everybody, Dan Orlovsky, everybody that talks about this guy on ESPN, they all say the same thing. I heard Dan say it this week. This kid's a stud. His film's great. They don't need to ruin him. And that's my biggest fear, is that the Titans will ruin him. You've heard a lot this week about regression. You've heard a lot this week about, has Cam regressed? It's only been 4 weeks, but, like, you can tell he's already trying to make up for the fact that he doesn't feel like anybody's going to be open, the fact that he doesn't feel like anybody's going to be able to protect, the fact that he probably doesn't believe in what the head coach is selling. It's just, it's tough, man. And I'll say this, 3 of the 4 games they've played were against elite NFL defenses. Houston, even though their record's not great, they got an elite defense. Denver, the Rams, they've got an elite defense. But guess what? Mac Jones torched that elite Rams defense last night. You're going to tell me the number 1 overall pick? I mean, Cam played well against the Rams. But still, like, come on. This roster's not great, but it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. Amnesia with a big super chat, and I appreciate you. Amnesia said, players have a defeated mentality. Players having a defeated mentality can hinder any team. Doesn't matter who is coaching them. Losing makes players quit before the game is over. That mentality was there before he was hired. Callie doesn't have all the blame. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, that's debatable. I do see players, I will agree with you that you do see players shutting down. And, you know, we all heard what Michael Pittman, the Colts wide receiver, said about the Titans before or after the game, about how they were acting before the game. But let me just say, and this is something that I hadn't thought about to the last couple of days, the Titans defense, the storyline surrounding them is, well, they keep it close for 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter they melt down. Houston beat us 26-0, and 20 of those points were in the 4th quarter. But consider this. Have you looked at the time of possession? The Texans had the ball nearly 50 minutes. The Titans only had the ball, like, I don't know. The Texans had like 47 maybe. I don't know. The Titans had the ball 22 minutes. That's what I know. The Titans had the ball 22 minutes of that game. So the Titans defense is on the field a lot. And I would imagine it is very discouraging when you're going out and making stops and you're going out and holding them to field goals and making them punt, and then what happens? Your offense can't get anything going. They can't get anything going. They can't get anything going. Eventually, you got to go out there and be like, well, what's the point in getting a stop? What's the point in getting a stop? Like, there's only so many times you can make a stop and then stand on the sideline and watch your offense go 3 and out, punt, turn it over, get sacked, whatever, penalties, all that stuff. But I also think when you talk about a team quitting, when you talk about a team that looks defeated, a lot of times a team can look defeated because they don't believe in what the head coach is selling. I believe that happens a lot too. I made this analogy Monday. If you're working at a job and you know that the manager is going to get fired soon, the manager you're working under, you know they're going to get fired soon, you're really not going to want to listen to much that manager has to say, right? Because you're going to be like, well, you're getting fired soon anyway. Like, what does it matter what you say? So I think there's some of that going on. I just think that the players, on defense, they're trying. But I think, it's hard to go out there and get motivated to make stops when you just feel like your offense is not going to capitalize. And there's no reason to believe they're going to capitalize at this point. Titans-Cardinals this Sunday. I'll tell you what I'm worried about the most. Kyler Murray's legs. Because the Titans, under Denard Wilson as defensive coordinator, have a tendency to not know how to defend or not be good at defending mobile quarterbacks. We've seen it time and time again. Even quarterbacks that are not that mobile still, I think it was Sam Darnold last year for the Vikings, that just torched us with his legs. And he's not even known as like a big runner. Kyler Murray is known as one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the league. So that scares me to death. Him with his legs and the Titans having trouble with that. Injury-wise, not having J.C. Latham probably again. I mean, it's not official, but he hadn't played in weeks, and he didn't practice Wednesday or yesterday. I just doubt JC's playing. Calvin Ridley. I mean, as far as Xavier Restrepo, honestly, maybe. Because if Calvin's not playing, Bryce Oliver is also on the injury report. He hadn't played in weeks, and I think he's on the injury report again. Your 2 wide receivers down, that only leaves DK, Io Manor, Jefferson, and Lockett. You got to call somebody up. So, yeah, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. The bat symbol's in the sky, baby. Xavier Restrepo. Offensively, I mean, there's nothing I can say about the Titans that you haven't already thought or said yourself. The Titans, I got to figure something out. Like, I don't know. But they need to get, I saw Paul Kuharsky talk about this today, they need to get Cam Ward moving. They need to move the pocket. Play action, bootleg. I don't know why we're not doing that a lot. I would love an explanation. Why are we not running play action bootlegs? Because they usually work when we do. Why are we not getting Cam moving? Why are we not running more RPOs? That's what he freaking specialized in that. I'm going to calm down. All right. I can feel myself get mad. Lord help me. He specialized in that in college at Miami. RPOs. So why are we not running RPOs? Like, we said we were going to add that in because that's what he's good at. But we're not doing. I don't know, man. I don't know. But at this point with the offense, I think Callahan and Hardigree, and I guess Holtz need to sit down and be like, listen, everything we've been doing, let's just do the opposite. Everything we've been doing, let's just do the opposite. Everybody remember that episode of SpongeBob, Opposite Day? Let's just everybody do the opposite of everything that we've been doing. If we've been running it up the middle on 1st and 10, let's not do it this week. If we've been conservative, let's just be aggressive now. Like, let's just the whole staff's probably going to get fired at this point. You got nothing to lose. Your back's against the wall. Let me read a couple of these comments because I saw a couple. Jay said, what was it about Callahan that was so attractive that Amy saw in him? He didn't even call the plays in Cincinnati. I think what people saw in Brian Callahan was he's a Callahan. He's got football in his blood. And I think his work with Burrow, Stafford. I mean, he's got an elite list of quarterbacks he's worked with. And, he was considered a pretty hot coaching candidate at the time. There were numerous teams trying to get him. Black and Teal 82, who's apparently a Jaguars fan, said, I don't want to get things twisted. I do not like the Titans at all. I like your show. I just want to make sure that was clear. I appreciate you. I've gotten a lot of I've gotten an amazing amount of comments this week from Jaguars and Colts fans that are like, man, I hate the Titans, but I love your channel. I'm like, you know what? It's what America needs right now, baby. It's what America needs. Two-Tone Talk, bringing the country together. Two-Tone Talk, 32-1 power rankings. Let's do this thing. Bottom 3 and at dead last. I hated to do it, guys, but it's the Titans. The Titans are last. From what I see right now, there's nobody worse. There's not a team worse than the Titans. And I hate that, guys. I hate that. But, I mean, as it stands right now, I can't put anybody below us. But rounding out the bottom 3, I think the closest one to us right now at 31, I actually went with the Jets. The Jets there's Jets fans already calling to fire Aaron Glenn. It's been 4 games. The Jets look they look about as lifeless as we have. Jets are bad. And rounding out the bottom 3, I went with the Carolina Panthers. And the reason I'm laughing is because I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a podcast, a Panthers fan podcast called Meow Mix that's been in existence for 6 years. And they literally canceled the podcast like yesterday because they said they just can't do it anymore. They're sick of taking time away from their family to talk about the Panthers. I was like, no, that's down bad right there. That is down bad. I can guarantee you right now, as bad as it gets, I ain't going nowhere on Two-Tone Talk. All right, as long as I'm here and the Titans are here, I'm going to be here. What a sentence that was. Number 29, I went with the Saints. I know the Saints are bad and they're 0-4, but the simple fact that they were competitive with the Bills puts them above the Panthers, Jets, and Titans for me. 28, the Browns. Quarterback change coming there with Dylan Gabriel. Shador is miming. I don't even know. But the Browns looked really, really rough Sunday. But they were playing Detroit. I mean, come on. Number 27, the Bengals. The Bengals, I thought about putting the Bengals even lower. I mean, I know they're without Burrow right now, but the similarities in the Zach Taylor offense and the Brian Callahan offense, glaring. Number 26, the Dolphins. Dolphins finally got a win. Tyreek Hill, gruesome injury. I just don't know about the Dolphins. I know they beat the Jets, but I don't know. Number 25, the Giants. Jackson Dart has arrived in the chat. He didn't particularly play well, but they won, and they beat the Chargers. Like, that was improbable. But I will say it kind of reminds me of like when Levis came in that game against Atlanta. Sometimes it's just a quarterback change gives you a spark for a couple of games, and I just wonder if that's going to wear off eventually. Number 24, the Cardinals, the Titans' opponent this week. I think the Cardinals are just the definition of their running backs on IR. They're okay. Number 23, the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a well-coached team. I think the Vikings have a good roster. I'm just not a big believer in J.J. McCarthy. Y'all know that. I'm not a big believer in J.J. McCarthy, and then Carson Wentz is their other guy. God bless Carson Wentz. Number 22, the Raiders. I actually think the Raiders are better than their record suggests. I think the Raiders, even though they're 1-3, I wouldn't want to play the Raiders because they're just one of those that could beat anybody at any time, I feel like. Number 21, the Texans. They move up the list a little bit. Finally got a win over us. But their defense is good, but I feel like C.J. Stroud's still struggling compared to where he was. Before I continue, Leon in the Super Chat said, at this point, I think the best course of action is to keep Callahan and tank the season. Complete rehaul after the season. Fire both Callahan's, Holes, and Brinker, and anyone else who needs it. Well, they're not going to fire Brinker. I get the impulse to do that, but I've said it before. I'll say it again. Going 0-17 or 1-16, that's not something you want either, because you don't want to establish, I mean, we already have, but you don't want to continue to have a culture of losing. You want Cam Ward and those young guys to be able to experience what it's like to win sometimes. So I don't know if I'm all for tanking the season. Number 20, the Patriots. They looked really good against Carolina on Sunday. They are who they are. They are who we thought they were. Number 19, the Cowboys. Ties should not be allowed to happen in the NFL in 2025. It's ridiculous. But Dak Prescott's playing really well. Dak Prescott was doing some filthy stuff the other night. Number 18, the Bears. The Bears have come a long way in a couple of weeks. And coaching matters. What have I been telling you guys? Coaching matters. Caleb Williams struggling to find his way last year with Eberflus. Now Ben Johnson's here, and Caleb Williams starting to look like the Caleb Williams we expected. So coaching matters. Number 17, the Falcons. Falcons got a win over the Commanders. Kind of hard to figure them out right now. Like they got a good win on the road at Minnesota. Then they got trounced by Carolina. Now they beat Washington. I don't know. But the Falcons are 17. Number 16, the Broncos. Bo Nix playing better lately. Their defense is legit. So the Broncos, they're going to be in that wild card hunt, I believe. Number 15, the Ravens. This may be the lowest the Ravens have ever been on this list. They got a lot of injuries. That's part of why I put them this low. Lamar's hurt. They got a lot of defensive guys hurt. But even with everybody healthy, I mean, I thought they would handle the Chiefs pretty easily. They did not. They got handled easily by the Chiefs. Didn't see that coming. Number 14, the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers playing good football. DK Metcalf playing good football. Steelers winning a close game. Look out for the Steelers, man. Every year they find their way into the mix. Number 13, the Commanders. The reason I still have the Commanders this high is because I know they've been without Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels coming back this weekend. I think with him, they'll move up this list a little bit. Number 12, the 49ers. I wanted to put the 49ers in the top 10, but the problem is they lost to Jacksonville Sunday. I didn't want to put them above Jacksonville because Jacksonville is playing well. I got the 49ers at 12. We'll see if they can get healthy. Jaguars at 11. I hate to have the Jaguars this high, but the Jaguars are playing well. Their defense is more legit than I would have thought. Trevor's doing some good stuff. They look excited to be there. Liam Cohen's getting some buy-in. Like, coaching matters. Having a coach you believe. I mean, listen. Going back to what Amnesia said in their super chat earlier about players looking defeated. When you got a coach that won't let you look that way, because here we go. All right. Y'all love Vrabel. Y'all think I don't like Vrabel. I like Vrabel. I thought Vrabel was a good coach. One thing I'll say about Vrabel. The players were bought into what he was doing. He could get something out of players. Not all the time, but a lot of times he could pull out the drive and determination to go out there and compete. Liam Cohen's doing that in Jacksonville right now. You see the clips of them in the locker room after the game. They're jumping up and down. They're going crazy. Liam Cohen confronting Robert Saleh on the field because he thought he said something about him. Like, the players are bought in. They're bought in. Liam Cohen. Duval. Bringing some life. To the top 10 we go. Seahawks. These are my sleepers. The Seahawks were my sleeper team this year. I had them making the playoffs. They've won 3 in a row. They're 3-1. Sam Darnold playing well. That defense is nasty. Look out for Seahawks. I'm telling you. Mike McDonald, one of the most underrated coaches in the league. Number 9, I kept the Colts at number 9. I mean, they were an A.D. Mitchell crazy fumble away from beating the Rams. I still think the Colts are fine. Daniel Jones still playing well. He threw I think he had a couple of interceptions in this game, but if not for A.D. Mitchell's blunders, the Colts probably would have won. Number 8, I went with the Chargers. Tough loss for the Chargers. It felt kind of fluky, so I'm going to keep them in the top 10, just drop them down some. I think Chargers will be fine, but the Giants beating them, like I said, it just felt like one of these weird things. Rookie quarterback comes in, injects some life. We'll see if that continues for the Giants, but I think the Chargers will be fine. Number 7, the Rams. Even though they lost last night, again, I know to have them this far ahead of the 49ers, even though the 49ers beat them last night, I just got more faith in the Rams. I got more faith in Stafford. I thought the play call on 4th and 1 last night in overtime was probably the worst call of McVay's career. Number 6, the Packers. They lost. Then they tied this week. I'm a little more iffy on them. I had them at number 1 a couple weeks ago. I'm a little more iffy on them now, but I think the Packers will be fine. They just got to get some stuff situated defensively. Why are the Packers at number 6 and number 5? Who did I have at number 5? What got messed up here? Hold on. Let me look at my notes. Who did I have at number 5? The Bucks. I had the Bucks at 5, even though they lost to the Eagles. I don't know. Sorry, Bucks. Your name's not on here. This didn't update from last week. But the Bucks I had at 5. I thought that even though they lost, they're so tough. They're really hurt right now. They're really banged up. But I feel like once they get healthy, I mean, like, you want to talk about buy-in. How do you not buy into Baker Mayfield? Number 4, the Chiefs. I should have known. The second that I dropped the Chiefs down this list and was like, oh, the Chiefs, 0-2, they look bad. I should have known. They're going to come out and destroy the Ravens and work their way back in. Now the Chargers lost. Chiefs pick up a game on them. Forget about it. The Chiefs will be around. They're always around. Number 3, the Eagles, defending world champions, one of the only unbeaten teams left. The Eagles just know how to win, man. It ain't fun all the time. It ain't pretty all the time, but they just know how to win games. But I do think the Lions would beat them head-to-head right now. I've got the Lions at number 2. I just think Detroit, they're just so explosive. And then number 1 right now, I'm giving it to Buffalo. Wouldn't bet against Buffalo right now. Josh Allen, well-oiled machine. That's the 32-1 power rankings from Two Tone Talk. And as Two Tone Production said, A.J. Brown not happy in Philadelphia right now, it seems. Not like miserable, but not exactly thrilled either. Something to keep an eye on. I know they're probably not going to trade him, and they're sure not going to trade him back here because he ain't going to want to come here. But I fear that's the only way to reset the timeline. I feel like it's the only way to reset the timeline is to just trade AJ back here. All right, let's make some score predictions for this weekend. Want to hear from you in the comments about all these games. We've got a London game early Sunday morning. London, I wish you had a better one coming your way. It's the Vikings and the Browns. The Dillon Gabriel debut. I'm going Vikings. I do think these are two good coaches. I've said before, I still think Kevin Stefanski's a good coach, but I got the Vikings winning this. Just going against that Vikings defense in your first start in London, that's a lot to ask of Dillon Gabriel. So I'm going to go with the Vikings to win this game. Texans-Ravens in Baltimore. Is Lamar playing? He can't be because Houston's favored to win. There's no way Lamar's playing if Houston's favored to win. It's in Baltimore. Under normal circumstances, I would absolutely pick the Ravens. But I'm going Texans. Because not just Lamar being out, but the Ravens have a lot of injuries. Key defensive players out. Seems like a good opportunity for the Texans to sneak a win in a game that they normally probably wouldn't have won under normal circumstances. Also, John Harbaugh, for some reason, said the Texans were a get-right game for the Ravens this weekend. Sounds like something that would backfire. So I'm going to go Texans. I was looking at the word Ravens. Texans. Unless Derrick Henry has one of those games, and he can do that against Houston. Giants-Saints. New Orleans is favored to win this game. I'm going to go out on a limb and pick the Saints. For some reason, I just feel like the Saints are going to win this game. In New Orleans, everybody's all about Jackson Dart because he won his first start on Sunday, and everybody's excited about that. Feels like maybe a come down to earth. Malik Neighbors, terrible injury to him. He's done. I've got the Saints. I got the Saints. Because the Saints actually played well against the Bills last week. Broncos, Eagles. I got to go Eagles. It's in Philly. And I wouldn't bet against the Eagles right now. In Philly especially, I just trust the Eagles to beat the Broncos. Cowboys, Jets. I got to go Cowboys. It's in New Jersey, but I'm going to go I'm going to go Cowboys. The Jets are just a disaster right now. Total disaster. So, I'll go Cowboys there. Raiders, Colts. This feels like a get-right game for the Colts, even though I do think the Raiders, as I said earlier, they have the capability to beat anybody any given week. But I'm going to go Colts. It's in Indianapolis. They're coming off of a tough loss. I just feel like the Colts are going to rebound and get a win here. Dolphins, Panthers. No Tyreek Hill. Panthers coming off of just a miserable performance in Carolina. It kind of feels like if Carolina loses this one, it's time to start like Dave Canellis' seat, the head coach of the Panthers, is going to be on fire. I'm going to go Dolphins. I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win this game. I just think the Panthers, Jets, and Titans, those are like the three that I'm looking at right now, and I'm like, bruh, y'all struggling. Bucks, Seahawks. This is a fun one. This is a secret fun game. And you know what? I'm going to go with the Seahawks because I think the Bucks are kind of banged up coming into this thing. I'm going to go Seahawks. In Seattle, you know the 12th man's going to be loud. I think people are sleeping on the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks over the Bucks on Sunday. Yes, sir. Commanders, Chargers. Here's a fun one. Jaden Daniels coming back to the lineup. I'm going to go Chargers. I think the Commanders getting Jaden Daniels back, but the Chargers coming off of what they probably consider to be an embarrassing loss to the Giants. They got beat by a team that they didn't think they would get beat by. I just feel like the Chargers are going to come out determined to get a win here. I'm going to go with Chargers over the Commanders. Oh boy, Lions, Bengals. I think the Lions could beat the Bengals by 40 points. It's in Cincinnati. Detroit's a 10.5-point favorite. I'm gonna have to go Lions in this one. That might be my lock for the week. I think the Lions will whoop them. Sunday nighter, Patriots, Bills. I mean, listen. People are going to be excited about Vrabel's Patriots if they win this, but I don't think they will. I'm going with the Bills in Buffalo. In prime time, I just feel like the Bills will take care of business. Monday nights, the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Again, in Jacksonville. And if Jacksonville wins this, people are going to start be like, all right, Jacksonville. I'm going to go Chiefs, though. It just feels like the Chiefs are getting rolling. They come off the big win over Baltimore. Mahomes starting to just look like Mahomes again. It's just time is a flat circle. And we're just right back to the start with the Chiefs. Every time you think they're out, they get back in. Taylor Swift just put out a new album today, so you know the Chiefs probably going to win. They're going to have all that Taylor Swift mojo going on. Last but not least, Titans, Cardinals. As I said, I think we're going to have trouble stopping Kyler Murray running. I think it just feels like Marvin Harrison's been struggling for the Cardinals. It just feels like a get-right game for him. You just know this is going to be the game where they come out and they're like, oh, man, Marvin Harrison getting it back on track today. You just know that's coming. So I'm going to go with Arizona because, quite frankly, right now, I don't see a reason to pick Tennessee until they give me one otherwise. I'm not screaming. I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not running around the room. I'm not throwing stuff. I'm not yelling. I'm just coming at you logically and using my brain. I don't see anything that would lead me to pick Tennessee. And until they give me a reason, I can't pick. Like, I have to go Arizona. Because I don't think Arizona's that good, but they're better than us at this point. I mean, you know what Cam said. You know what Cam said we are. And, last week I said I look at the Titans players and I say, show some pride, man. Y'all being laughed at out here. But I want to say that to the coaches too. Show some pride. Y'all are like, y'all about to be fired. Y'all about to be fired. No more coaching scared. No more PP running down your legs. No more conservative play calls, no more surrender draws. Like, come on. What have you got to lose? You're going to get fired. You may as well go out swinging. God bless you, man, but it's time to just put all the cards on the table. Put all the cards on the table. I want to close out with this super chat because I thought it was a good question to end on. Super Bowl and league MVP predictions. As far as league MVP, I'm going to go with the safe bet, Josh Allen. As far as Super Bowl, are we talking about Super Bowl MVP or Super Bowl team? Either way, I'm going all Buffalo. That's who I picked preseason. I'm sticking with them. I think the Bills win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen MVP. That's my guess at this time. But we got a long way to go. We're in this. What's the song from High School Musical? We're all in this together. Appreciate you listening to the Two Tone Talk podcast. I'll be back on Monday to talk about whatever happens on Sunday. And I hope it's a victory Monday. I don't even remember what those feel like, to be honest with you. God bless you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy some football.